Hey, hello and welcome back. I'm Soma, and if you're here for the first time, welcome to the channel. Suddenly you wake up one morning and it's like November already, and there is so much still to do because we are just not ready to call it a year, or maybe we're ready because 2020 has been extremely chaotic. Everything has happened that was not supposed to happen. I guess a lot of our plans have been turned upside down and things have been extremely crazy. So, whatever in whichever side of the boat you are, we are ready to wrap up the year. And I think today we are going to talk about a little bit about should we do a digital detox? So, what does it even mean to do a digital detox? Like always, get yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or any drink and something to nibble on, and we'll just get started. All right, I hope you're back with your drink. I have mine. And, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Soma. I work as an agile coach and program manager during the day. And this is sort of my weekend hobby. So, all right then. So, um, what is digital detox? I know that a lot of us are so connected to the world, to our friends, to our global friends, that we need to be connected constantly to different platforms, social media accounts, and things like that. It's just not because for some of us it could be the job, for some of us it could be for the sake of friends and family who perhaps live in different continents and different countries, and it's a wonderful way to get connected, right? So, but is there a limit to it? Is there a time where we say this is it, we shouldn't? Because what we see right now is it is just not limited to us. If you look at the next generation, our kids, well, other than the fact that they're born with computers and laptops and tablets and social media and wi-fi and whatnot, I think the fact that they also see a lot of their parents constantly on the phone might have an impact on them too. So even if you tell them, like, cut off your computer time or your TV time, it's very difficult to get it done when you have a parent sitting next to them constantly on the phone. There's a very interesting quote, and I'm looking here at my laptop. So it says that Harvard Medical School has article up which says boredom is the space in which creativity and imaginations happen. And I think I've read it also, a lot of it, something similar before, that when we are bored, we have nothing to do, we are not fiddling constantly with our phone. That is when we start thinking how to entertain us, or things that we can think without being influenced by others, anybody else's social media accounts or pictures, and that leads to great ideas. Because if you notice, when we are constantly looking at somebody else's social media post or updates, whatever it is, we are impacted, influenced constantly over and over again. So the time or the period that we have to ourselves to think something original is probably highly impacted or influenced, or there is none at all. And I think it would be very similar for kids, probably more for kids, because if someone is constantly telling them, whether it's the TV or the YouTube channel, what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to think, it's just not being influenced at that point of time. It's sort of being very dominant impact and just telling them what they're supposed to do, right? So I think boredom is not a bad thing to have. In fact, it's a good thing to have. The fact that I started my blog almost like 10 years ago was because of the fact that I was bored. Like when I used to come back from home from work, I pretty much had nothing to do, didn't like the TV channels as much. So I thought, let's start a blog. So that's how it was started. So I think we just have to, look inside as always and see what we can do. Okay, so there is a study that says an average American spends nearly half of every day staring at a screen, and because of which our bodies pay the price. Now, while it could be the study was done in America, I don't think this study is something that can be pinpointed at any geographic location right now. And the eye strain that we have because of all these digital impacts that constantly is in our lives, we have dryness in the eyes, blurred vision, headaches, and it's generally suggested that there is a 20-20 rule, it turns out. Now what the rule is that for every 20 minutes you look at the screen, you should also look up and at an object 20 feet in distance, which is you probably stare as farthest as you can for 20 seconds. So even if you're working, if a day job where you're constantly sitting and looking at a laptop or a screen, it's a good idea to look away as frequently as possible. And of course, doctors say a lot, like, make sure you wash your eyes and then you look at the green and things like that. So for a lot of us, what it boils down to is the fact that our phone is our identity. Um, what we do, who we are, how we project ourselves is all in the phone by itself, right? And even when we say, okay, I'm going to switch off my television, no more screen time before I go to bed, you're probably still looking at your screen or watching Netflix on your tablet or your screen, or just one last I'll just browse through my Insta or my Facebook, and then that's it, and then it never ends. I know for me, because of the pandemic, that the fact that we are all at home, constantly at home, and everybody at home, the only entertainment right now is probably the screens. So you can't go out, you can't meet your friends, you usually cannot do anything that you are used to do. Whatever is left of it to do in real life socially is not there anymore. So the only thing that we can do is turn that side of a social life to a virtual platform as well. So voice call your friends, WhatsApp your friends, do a video call, do a FaceTime, do a Facebook chat. Things like that are taking more and more over our lives. Not that it hadn't before the COVID era, but right now I think it's a lot more. And you know what they say, so every time you switch from a task, so let's say you're working, and then you think, hey, let me just one ping and let me just see who pinged me, wherever it is, and that takes away 23 minutes of your time. Not that you're browsing for 23 minutes, I mean, let's be honest, it can be more, but the fact that you looked away from your task will distract you, and the time it takes you to get back to that zone again is around 23 minutes. Yep. So apart from the fact that the number of minutes, hours you have been browsing, you also add additional time to it for you to get back to the work itself. So switching is never a good idea. So I think if you're trying to work or get something done, just force yourself to not look at your screen or your phone, keep it away. Don't switch on your TV, get the work done, and then maybe take more frequent breaks where you can take like a 10-minute, you can watch a YouTube video or you can listen to a song or something like that. That helps. Now, like everybody else, my life was chaotic as well, and what I had to do, I hope that this helps you as well, was I did take a few days off to actually go back and organize my life. And what I found was my inbox was full, crazy full. I didn't even check my mails half the time, probably because those mails didn't mean anything to me. And what was happening was I was missing out important emails, because really I was like, every time I opened my inbox, it was full of commercial pings and nudges of things that I had to buy, discounts that were going on. And I just wasn't into it at that time. So all I did was, apart from deleting like thousands of emails, I actually sat back and unsubscribed. A couple of things that you can probably take a hint from and try out. And one, be merciless. No matter how kind your heart is, I think it's so important to be absolutely cruel when you're trying to detox your life. And the most important thing is, yes, go through your inbox, go through your social media accounts, go through your subscriptions. Number two is a no-brainer. It's notifications. So I already have done it for a lot of my apps on my phone. And the other thing that I do is I use a laptop, a phone, and a tablet. But I also make sure, I mean, for all three of these, I have different purposes why I use them. And I make sure that I don't replicate the same app everywhere. Because, for example, let's say Netflix, I will not have on my tablet because I use it more for my work or my reading or my, anything that is related to my personal development side of things. So I really don't need a Netflix on my tablet. So if I need to have Netflix app anywhere, I'll probably have it in my laptop. I actually don't even have it in my laptop because I cleaned it all up. It's only connected to my TV and that's all. Number three for me is no TV. I know it's controversial because I know a lot of us like to watch. That's how some of us will say, I relax or unwind. At the end of the day, things are worse already. Why should I get rid of the TV or no TV? I do not mean to like dump your TV. Please have them, enjoy them. But I think when we watch them should be something that is very mindful. So if you're working, it shouldn't be, oh, I'm work from home, so let's have TV playing at the background and working. Like I said, the back and forth takes away a lot of your time. And apart from your time, I think it also makes you like brain tired because you're constantly switching. So it helps if you're trying to focus on work. So if you're working, try not to switch on the TV. Just get the work done. And then maybe you can slot yourself some time where you actually watch TV. My problem to be honest, is sometimes I would end up binge watching TV. And when I would get up in the morning, I was so tired. I would like gulp coffee, and I would think I'm fine because now I don't need to get ready. I can just flop in my pajamas right at my work and have guzzle coffee, and I'm fine. But you are so brain tired because your routine or your schedule is completely gone. So I think just because we are work from home, and that's a blessing, we shouldn't take that for granted and mess up our complete routines. Number three done. Number four is do nothing. um, I think this is something that all of us probably think of or have read somewhere, but I don't think we believe in it. Like, how can I absolutely sit doing nothing? But it's so important, like the fact that boredom is important in our lives. Sometimes we create that time for us to do nothing. So just because you have nothing to do, don't switch on TV or don't do repetitive things that sort of snowballs you into more of a negative thinking mindset. And I think once you figure out that watching this series or talking to this person or doing this does not help my mindset, it mostly makes things worse for me. It's probably not. It's probably a good idea to keep watch for it, and then just look back and say like, okay, this isn't working for me. Oh, I got it. It's called The Sleep Revolution. And if you haven't had the chance to read it, you should, because the book is all about sleep. And it talks about why it is so important that you have a routine when you sleep and what sleep is all about. If you're the kind of person who does not believe in a routine, or you do things, you wing it, you're sort of like impulsive person, you will notice that if you can continue sleeping at the same time, you are probably also waking up at the same time. And what it does is it can allow you to create a routine which will allow you to be more creative, have that me time, a little bit of space between work and all that. And that is very, very important. So definitely think of that. Number six is regain your balance. So too much of anything is not good. So which means is, a little play, a little work definitely helps everybody. So the idea is, if you are working for, let's say, 8 hours, 9 hours a day, you have to make sure you break them into smaller chunks. So maybe every 2 hours, you take a break, you walk around, see a little bit of greenery, and then come back again and get into the zone of working once more. All right, so coming back to number six about regaining your balance, I think it's, like I said, it's so important. So see what gives you that feeling of relaxation. For some of us, it could be reading a good book. For some of us, it could be going for a walk, playing with your kids, is whatever it is that refreshes you. I think it's so important that we get into it, right? And the last one is end the cycle. So at some point, we have to decide and take the call to end the vicious cycle. Now, for a lot of us who work in front of the screen constantly, like me, like you work during the day, or you have a business, or whatever you're working is around the digital space, then we are probably forced to work more in front of the screen than a lot of other people. In whichever cases, whether it's a thing that you have to do or you're choosing to do, I think at some point you have to end the cycle. And by ending the cycle, obviously you cannot say that I will not, work in my laptop or my computer. We have to do that. But the time that we are not sitting in front of the computer, or we can choose to not be in front of a digital space, I think it's so important to take that break, be free, get bored, think something out of it, read a book, like a real book, instead of always going for a digital version. There's always a different feel of flipping through the pages that you won't get by swiping on a tablet or Kindle. Detox your mind as much as you would probably detox your body and your eyesight, and give it a break once in a while. So if you have a busy schedule where you cannot slot a me time, where you're completely um, screen time free, maybe you can do it like once a month. Just take one day off or half a day off, and then try to give yourself a break. What happens is, a lot of people, including me, have like very stiff neck, or sometimes even neck and back pains. And the funny thing is, when I took that break of like almost 4 5 days, and I was trying not to do anything. I wasn't blogging, no YouTube. I'm sure you've noticed. I was trying not to look at my screen, even not look at the WhatsApp and things like that. It did help, and suddenly, like 3 days later, I noticed my neck pain was completely gone, because probably I wasn't hunching down, always looking at my screen. So with very little effort and pretty much not doing anything else, just looking away from the screen has its own benefits. So I do hope this video gives you a little bit of that nudge, that you need to, try to look away from the screen and to think that it's okay to get bored. Just try not to put that boredom or that extra time that you have found or etched out of your very busy schedule to go back into screen again. So thank you once again for watching, and I do hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye bye.